The sixth planet is bigger than the last planet. The little prince sees an old gentleman. The man writes big books. Oh, here comes an explorer, he says when he sees the little prince. The little prince sits down on the table. He is tired from traveling so long and so far. Where are you from? The old gentleman asks him. What is this big book? Asks the little prince. What are you doing here? I am a geographer, the old gentleman answers. What is a geographer? A geographer is somebody who knows where the seas are, and rivers, cities, mountains and deserts. It is very interesting, says the little prince. Finally here is a man who has a real job, he thinks. And he looks around at the geographer's planet. Your planet is very beautiful, he says. Does the planet have oceans? I can't say, says the geographer. The little prince is sad. And mountains. I can't say, says the geographer. And cities and rivers and deserts. I can't tell you, says the geographer. But you are a geographer. It is true, says the geographer, but I am not an explorer. There is no explorer on my planet. The geographer doesn't discover cities, rivers, mountains, seas, oceans and deserts. The geographer doesn't have time for traveling. He doesn't leave his office. But the explorers visit him in his office. He asks them questions, and he writes what they remember. And if the information is interesting to him, then the geographer has to ask more questions about the explorer. He has to know if the explorer is a good person. The little prince wants to know why the explorer has to be a good person. The geographer says, an explorer who is a bad person can give information which is not correct. And also an explorer who drinks very much can give bad information. Why? Asks the little prince. Because drunk people don't see correctly. Then the geographer can draw two mountains in a place where there is only one. I know somebody, says the little prince, who drinks a lot. He can be a bad explorer. It is possible. So when the explorer is a good person, then I have to check if his information is correct. Do you visit the place? No. It is too complicated. But the explorer has to give me proof. For example, if he knows about a big mountain, the explorer has to bring some stone from the mountain. Then the geographer smiles. But you come from very far. You are an explorer. You must tell me about your planet. The geographer opens his big book. He prepares his pen. Tell me about your home, says the geographer. Where I live, says the little prince. It is not very interesting. It is very small. I have 3 volcanoes. 2 volcanoes are active, and 1 volcano isn't active. But you never know. You never know, says the geographer. I also have a flower. We don't write about flowers, says the geographer. Why not? The flower is the most beautiful thing on my planet. Because flowers don't live very long. In geography, we have very correct books. Our books are almost always true. A mountain usually doesn't change its position. An ocean usually doesn't lose its water. We write about things which are here for a long time. But volcanoes which aren't active can be active again, says the little prince. If volcanoes are active or not, it is the same for us, says the geographer. A volcano is a mountain. It is important. A mountain doesn't change. Your flower is different. Your flower can be gone soon. My flower can be gone soon. Of course. My flower can be gone soon, thinks the little prince, and she has only 4 thorns for protection. And she is home alone. The little prince is sad. But he wants to continue on his journey. What is an interesting place to visit? He asks. The planet Earth, the geographer answers. It is a nice planet. And the little prince continues on his way. He is still thinking about his flower. The 7th planet is the Earth. The Earth is a very big planet. There are 111 kings on Earth. There are also 7,000 geographers, 900,000 businessmen, 7.5 million drunk men, 311 million men who need to be admired. Together 2 billion adults live on this planet. The Earth is really big. I want to show you how big the planet is. I want to give you one example. Before electricity, 462,511 Lamplighters work on Earth. These Lamplighters have to turn on and turn off the lamps on 6 continents. When you look at the Earth from some distance, you can see a beautiful show. The Lamplighters are like the dancers in the opera. Their organization is perfect. The Lamplighters of New Zealand and Australia come first. They turn on their lamps. Then the Lamplighters of China come, then the Lamplighters of Russia and India, then the Lamplighters of Africa and Europe, then the Lamplighters of South America and of North America. And they never make a mistake. It is beautiful. Only the Lamplighter of one lamp at the North Pole, and his colleague at the South Pole, have easy lives. They work twice a year. When I speak about the Lamplighters, you can think that there are many people on Earth. Now I want to tell you more about people on Earth. People take very little space on Earth. If the 2 billion people on Earth stand close together, they can all be in one square. The square is 20 miles long and 20 miles wide. You can put all people on a small island. Of course, adults don't believe this information. They think that they take a lot of space. They think that they are as important as the baobabs. But they can make their own calculation. They love numbers and they like to count. But you don't have to do it. It is not necessary. Believe me. When the little prince comes on Earth, he is surprised. He is surprised because he doesn't see any people. He starts to think that he is on the wrong planet. But then he sees something in the sand. Good evening, says the little prince. Good evening, says the snake. What is this planet? Asks the little prince. It is the planet Earth. You are in Africa, the snake says. Are there no people on Earth? This is the desert. There are no people in the desert, says the snake. The little prince sits down on a rock. He looks at the stars. Look at my planet, the little prince says. My planet is up there. But it is very far. It is beautiful, the snake says. Why are you here? I have some problems with a flower, says the little prince. Says the snake. And he is quiet.